Welcome to Happily Ever AF, the marriage and comedy podcast where marriage and relationships get roasted and toasted.
We are your hosts, Daniel and Maria. We will dive headfirst each week into the hilarious antics of marriage, some of the highs and some of the low lows.
So grab a drink, whether you're happily married or just here for the drama. And let's get into this chaos we call love.
Okay, so sorry for the delay of a week. We both were sick with the flu.
So now that we've recovered, mostly.
Slightly.
I'm not going to be moving my microphone away because I'm pretty much done with the cough. Maria.
But I will spare you from a coffee tantrum should one happen by moving my microphone away.
So in honor of us being sick, we decided to kick off this week's episode with the man flu.
Yes.
Maria's going to go ahead and read a story.
And not so much a story, but just a psychological excerpt. Really interesting. Historically, we've always thought, well, women have believed that men are exaggerative with their symptoms when they're sick. So,
And us as men believe that there is no pain in the world that a woman could experience other than childbirth that could let her understand the pain we go through when we have the flu.
interestingly enough, there is someone out of Florida, a psychologist named Justin Pooter, that has done some research on it. And he's come to the conclusion that many men are taught only to complain when things are legitimate physical complaints. So when they get sick, because it's a legitimate complaint, it's a catastrophe. And it's their opportunity to bring in the emotional turmoil that they're expressing, as well as their physical ailments. So what should be something very subdued, or maybe like, hey, honey, I'm sick, can you take care of me? Becomes like, oh, I'm dying. So I thought it was kind of mind-blowing because I could see the legitimacy to it.
I can understand the legitimacy behind it. I think that this time around for me is I felt it and I knew, and I even said that night, I think I'm getting sick. And Maria was like, no, you're not getting sick. It's this blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, I'm getting sick. And then the next morning, she woke up and I went, honey, I need you to come take my temperature. And she's like, why? I was like, I'm pretty sure. I took my temperature.
You did.
I got up and I got the thermometer. I took my temperature. I said, honey.
Sorry.
We're just going to wait a second there.
So he wakes me up from sleep. Honey, I'm so sorry to bother you while you're sleeping. I have a fever of 101.5.
Could you help me out? And so she's, of course, trying to make me feel better. What I was really wanting was cough syrup and bed, and we didn't have cough syrup. So what I was hoping would happen was she would go to the store, get cough syrup, and I could take some cough syrup and go to sleep. That didn't happen until the afternoon when I literally said to her, honey, all I really want is some cough syrup so I can go to bed. And she said, well, then I'll go get you cough syrup.
Yes.
So guys.
Words. Use your words. I am not.
Words help.
I'm not a telepath.
So, so yeah, I was in and out of it pretty quick though, luckily.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
day 2,
24 hours
starting
later.
to feel better, and she goes, did it start with kind of a pick in your throat? And I said, oh, you're sick. Get ready. It's going to hit. It's going to hit hard. She said, no, I'm going to go into work tomorrow. I'll be fine. I said, you should go ahead and call out. She said, no, I'll be fine. Next morning, high temp,
respiratory issues, couldn't catch my breath, coughing, all the things.
And since I had broken my fever and I was doing better, I was on the mend, I immediately went into caregiver mode. So I went from what should have been the man flu, which I didn't, to, honey, what do you need? And if you look, I have the text message chain. I should have put them up there for you to see.
Oh, but it's on pretty much all the social media
Check them out.
platform.
If you look at my text to her, it's like, hey, could you grab me water? Hey, this, Hers is, can I get a vanilla chai latte with 3 scoops of sugar? And am I a barista now?
A barista, yes, you were. It was my need that I had at the moment, so it was great. He took great care of me. It hit me again like harder than COVID, so I'm glad to be where I am, sort of feeling somewhat human again. So
But
Very grateful.
I will be self-admitted in this that normally when I am sick, I am a big baby.
He is that.
I am a large 6'2" baby that wants nothing more than to be taken
Coddling,
care of.
to be taken care of. But you so rarely ask for it. So like Justin out of Florida said, there is some legitimacy to it when you're supposed to be stoic in all of life, and this is your one chance to kind of get the coddling that you deserve sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know that I would call it the coddling.
They don't want to admit to it, but that's exactly what it is.
So, flu hit, flu's gone. Well, for the most part. One of us has the flu gone, the other one's still dealing with it. Hopefully she'll start feeling better this week.
Any messages to men dealing with the flu?
I mean, for me, the thing is I could kind of tell where it was going right away. I did want to take a COVID test because I had that crawly skin you get with COVID, and I wasn't. It's been a while since I felt that, so my skin was like on fire, and so I did take a COVID test, but I was okay. But other than that, I mean, really, it was just drink water, drink. I know there's one of those things that's like starve a cold and drown a flu.
Yeah,
or,
there was no appetite, so there was no worry.
I
No
was
worrying about
starving
starving.
anyway. I starved it out anyways, and then I just made sure to drink a lot of fluid, and I did. I think a lot of my time was just spent going to the bathroom because I was drinking so much fluid.
My messages to women are: one, ask your husband or significant other what their needs are, just in case they want cough syrup and you to run to the store and drop everything to do it. Ahead of time, you get a head start there. And secondly, be kind. Remember, they don't always ask for things, so when they're actually sick, it's okay to love them and give them the care that they need.
And also, when you're both sick, it's hard, and because when you live in a household, and I say luckily, we don't have children. So if we did have kids, and I've talked to my sister where like the flu will come in and just wipe her whole house out, and you've got a husband, wife, 3 kids all sick, and that's when it's got to be really hard. But when your whole house is hit, you've just got to find ways to carry the burden together. If one person's feeling a little bit better, I know I was still sick, but at the same time, I knew that there were things that needed to be done. So I got up and I made sure to get those done so that she didn't have to, because I knew she needed to rest.
Yep. Okay, so ready for our next topic.
All right, what's our next one?
Okay, so one of the biggest, somewhat legitimate complaint that Daniel has is when I criticize his driving.
So in our marriage, for the most part, I drive. If it's her and I going somewhere, I drive. There are the occasions where I'm not feeling well, or I need a break from driving on long road trips where, hey, hon, can you drive? And I ask, but for the most part, I drive.
So he usually gets my nagging coming out when I see him accelerate when people ahead of him are braking. So he drives, don't interrupt, he drives the way that he wants other people to drive, not necessarily how they're driving. So I've gotten better, but I have this habit of saying brakes, brakes, brakes. I've gotten better.
Brakes, brakes, brakes has now turned into ee, or slamming her hand against the
No,
front
I
of the car.
grab onto the ocean handle quite frequently.
My problem is if it's a legitimate I'm missing something, yeah. But for the most part, I'm a pretty responsible driver. Don't talk to my family about that, though. My parents and my sisters might have something else to say when it comes to that regard. But I'm a pretty responsible driver. I've learned to kind of anticipate what other drivers are going to do and stay out of accidents. And so in my defense here with driving in our relationship, we have gotten in one accident, car on car.
Yes.
Who was driving?
Me.
So when she criticizes my driving, my point is, have I ever gotten into an accident with you in the car?
To be fair, It was not a accident while we were stuck in traffic. It was a very unusual accident.
I will say this: it was partially. I'll take part of the blame here.
Oh wow, he's actually taking part of the
Part,
blame.
part. We were trying to figure out where to park at her dad's. There was a bunch of people coming over, and I didn't want to take like the primary parking spot because I knew other people had things to unload, and so I was trying to figure it out. She was trying to figure it out. She was frustrated because I'm not going to get into that, but she backed up, and in her defense, there's not normally a semi truck parked there.
There's not normally anybody parked there.
But in my defense, you have a backup camera, and it was
I
a
was too
semi-truck.
busy looking at
It was
him while
a
I was arguing.
Semi truck.
And yes, it was a parked semi truck. Yes, I
In the
backed
words
up.
of Snatch, it's not like it's a packet of peanuts, is it?
So
When
yes,
you reverse, things come from behind.
that was a. But to be fair, my mind was elsewhere. We had just gotten through some trauma in life, and I wasn't in the right mental state. But that does not excuse my poor driving. I should have looked behind me. It could have been something else, a dog, a child. So always check your reverse camera and look behind before you reverse, so that way you could avoid smashing into a parked semi.
And if you're going on long trips and you don't want your wife to nag you incessantly, I can tell you a few tips. One, duct tape. Two, let her get on her phone. Just let her be on her phone. Just let her be on her
I am
phone.
not a passenger princess, to be fair. I am not. I don't ask for Starbies. I don't have my blanket. I don't. I've only recently fallen asleep because it's been.
First of all, I want to start with point number one for not
Yes.
being a passenger princess.
Yes.
Recently, we were driving to a Christmas festival where
Mm-hmm.
I had one request to see the Cloggers on the main stage
That
at 3
was
o'clock.
not due to me. That was due to Ariana,
Why were we late?
Kai, Alina, Jack, and Ella.
Why were we late?
Because somebody wanted
Dutch.
Dutch Brothers and Canes.
And they picked the busiest of the 3 other Dutch brothers that we passed
Yes.
en route to the festival.
Yes. So anyhow,
And on that same trip is the one she fell asleep.
we should. I will not go into that one. I usually don't. I'm usually awake all the time, but I was completely exhausted. It was my first vacation in over a year, so I think I deserve that nap. Anyhow, I wanted to jump into Reddit because driving, women criticizing their husbands or significant others while driving is a common thread in male to female relationships. So this was an interesting post on Reddit. My husband has a rule that I'm not allowed to critique his driving, and for the most part, I respect that. But yesterday, he sped up to 100 miles per hour to pass another car, and I reflexively said, "Oh gosh." He really got upset, saying I had agreed not to comment on his driving. That if this was about his driving, he doesn't want to hear any sounds or reactions from me at all. And if I want to make the sounds or comments, I can just drive myself. I've heard that a time or two. I tried to explain to him that it wasn't a critique, just a reaction to the sudden speed. But he didn't want to talk to me for the rest of the ride. When we got home, we had stuff to carry inside, and he only took his bag, leaving everything else for me. As I was struggling, one of my things fell. He just watched. When I asked for help, he said, "No one told you that we had to take everything on one trip." I ended up struggling up the apartment and had to go back alone for the rest while he stayed upstairs. When I got back, he completely ignored me and I started crying. I tried to calm down and ask if we could talk, but he said he wouldn't engage me. Even as I was crying and begging for him to talk, he told me he didn't care and that he was not going to comfort me and went back to playing his game. This kind of behavior happens often, But this time it got so bad that I ended up leaving the house because I felt really depressed and on edge. I packed my bag, told him I was done, left the house to stay at the hotel. He didn't even acknowledge me as I was leaving and only called 6 hours later to check on me. I came back the next day and we finally talked. He told me that I don't listen to him and that I caused myself to be hurt. He admitted that he could have handled some things differently, like showing that me leaving mattered to him, but still insisted that I was to blame and said that no one forced me to take all the bags. I reminded him that that in our relationship we always help each other with stuff like that. I even asked him multiple times if he was upset, and he said no, only to blame me the next day. I'm honestly confused and I don't understand.
Wow.
Right?
Yeesh.
Yeah, so that's part of the ugly side of criticizing your significant other while driving.
I mean, I get upset sometimes. I'll admit it. I get upset sometimes. But for me, it's more of because if you're going to criticize my driving that much, I'm just not going to drive anymore.
How do you think he responded?
His response is a little extreme, though. I mean, I've been upset, and I've never gotten upset to you from driving to where like I didn't talk to you that same
Yeah,
day.
pretty close.
Close.
Yes, but not like this.
To the point where you
If
are
you,
crying, asking to talk to me, and I'm
yeah.
saying no.
I would have
That's another
pieced
thing. Is like
out a
for
long
me,
time ago.
for me, the things that stuck out to me is as a guy. I'm more of a traditional guy in a relationship. Trad, shout out trad dads. I'm not a trad dad, but I'm more of a traditional guy. I would carry most of the bags. If you pissed me off in the car, I would probably still carry most of the bags. But that's more for me because when I'm walking back and forth from the car, it's a me time. That's time where I get to relax. So basically, it's time for me to kind of decompress and de-stress and think about the situation. So when I do get inside, because I know you're going to want to talk about it, kind of like she did when she was done with everything. There were a few things that stuck out to me. There was that he made her carry her own bags, which for me, I would have still carried the bags because that's time for me to decompress and think about things. And then number two, the video games. I play games on my phone, like most people, but I don't own a video gaming system, and I don't play PvP games. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I used to when I was younger, but now I don't see the point in it. So that when you put your relationship aside to play games is a problem. And for this girl, I'm assuming,
Yes.
in this post, I would caution her on where their relationship is going.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably
A lot of red flags.
A lot of red flags. I
Lot
think
of
there
red
might have
flags.
been other issues in the relationship because I don't know if he was prioritizing the game over her or if that was his outlet to just zone out from her. Again, I think there was avoidance, a lot of avoidance in this relationship, but yeah, the driving triggers it, and the fact that he just shut her out just like that, it's kind of gaslighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just look, as a guy that drives my wife, I don't appreciate having a size C driver, and she knows that. So she does her best, and I know she does. And I do my best not to get mad at her when she makes comments. Things happen, but you have to understand that things are going to happen. So
Yeah.
just be patient.
It's
Patience.
just one of those things. It's instinctual for women to do. I'm not trying to make an excuse.
Oh no, that was inherited from
I
Estella.
think it is inherited from
Your
women
mother.
being a woman. I think that
Your
we just
mother.
naturally do it. But
I
yes,
heard her do it to your father.
my mother was the queen of it. Yes.
All right. So what's last on our agenda here?
Okay, last on our agenda is the weaponized incompetence.
Ooh, I like this one.
This one's a good one.
I like this one because I have a group of friends, and I say this, a group of guy friends where all of our significant others are in the medical field for the most part around here. And when we get together, we talk about things that we do around the house that kind of make it easier for us and we get like how to get away with stuff. And this is the first time I heard weaponized incompetence was Thanksgiving.
Yes. So let me define what weaponized
Okay.
incompetence actually is. It is passive aggressive behavior where someone intentionally or unknowingly performs tasks poorly or claims that they cannot do it to avoid responsibility. I have seen that in my marriage.
So my biggest example of that is there's actually a little bit of both from both of us here, and I can explain that to you here in a second.
Okay, I'm willing.
One, laundry. I will start the laundry. I will even put the laundry in the dryer. I hate folding laundry. So to get out of it, I always fold my laundry and leave hers in the basket.
The first time this came up was he was helping with the laundry. I think it was a moment where I was working and didn't have spare time.
And she says to me,
I came in and
"Why
I was
can't
like,
you fold my
wait, you
clothes?"
put everything else away. Why couldn't you put my stuff
And
away?
I said, well, I don't know where it goes.
That was total bullshit, clearly.
So rather than fold them, because now I still don't know where all of her stuff goes.
That is baloney. They're either like 2 drawers down in a separate cabinet or in the closet.
So what
It's
I
not
do
rocket
is
science.
I just put it where I think it would go, and if it's in the wrong spot.
And I don't complain.
Now, to be fair, on the other one, the reverse role. She doesn't realize that this is kind of, I don't know that this is weaponized incompetence, I just think it's how she is. When you load the dishwasher, you drive
That
me
is not incompetence.
insane. I will not let her do the dishes because when she loads the dishwasher, things come out dirty because she loads it in such a way that there's parts that spin and move and do things to clean all of the dishes, and she inhibits it, and it drives me nuts.
I am a Tetris player. I try to Tetris the dishes.
She tries to put everything
I
in there
do
in the
check
way
to
in
make sure
which
that
it
the
fits.
spinny thingy actually has full range of motion. But he is right. Sometimes I get a little too clustered with my dishes.
So me, I put everything in where I know where everything's going to get clean.
Yes.
So I have taken over dish duty in our house. I perform the dishes, and that's just what it is. But, I mean, and that's kind of where we, like I said, we kind of split chores up in the house.
We do.
I help with the laundry because I know laundry's a lot. I wear a lot of clothes. I get it. Dishes, I pretty much handle the dishes for the most part. There are times where she helps.
Yeah, I think in our marriage, I think we're pretty good at give and take. The only one is truly the laundry.
Yeah.
Over the holidays, we had to deal with some weaponized incompetence. My nieces, God bless their little hearts in a good way, they could not figure out how to put a charcuterie board together. They're like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, it's cheese and crackers and nuts and meats. You just open it up and spread it around to make it look good.
My favorite was the girls wanted crescent rolls.
Oh, no.
So Maria and I are running around in circles, and I turned to Kai, one of her niece's
We love you,
boyfriends.
Kai.
I love you. And I said, hey, man, could you help me out? Could you get these crescent rolls together and get them ready to go in the oven? He goes, yeah. I come back around the corner.
He tried. He gave it
I'm
a
like,
good go
what are
on
you
his
doing?
own.
And Maria was like, don't you shame him. And I go, I'm not shaming him, but we're not going to get crescent rolls the way he's rolling them. So I said, Kai, let me show you. So I showed him, and
Yes.
now Kai knows how to roll a crescent roll the right way.
And I showed the girls how to cut
But
some
again,
cheese.
So a lot of these things like weaponized incompetence, if you find something that's thinking is being weaponized,
I think those are life skills.
well, not just that. My whole thing against weaponized incompetence is if you find something that you think is becoming weaponized incompetence in your relationship, rather than confront them about it and say, hey, I think you're doing this because, do it with them, show them, because then there's no excuse.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's absolutely true.
And you're doing something together.
And also take some initiative. If you don't know how to do something, YouTube, TikTok, Clean Talk. YouTube has so many great tutorials, as does TikTok. Learn how to do it. There's so many resources out there to show you how to do it. And how impressed is your significant other going to be when they're like, oh my God, they know how to do this. They surprised me with this. I think it would be fantastic. I do have to say that there is actual incompetence out there. So when I was researching weaponized incompetence, because I already knew what it was, but I wanted to give more examples, there are some people that just aren't good. Like I have an aunt, I love her dearly. She can't cook for anything. Like literally cannot cook. She tried growing up. We would force ourselves to eat what she made because it was that unpalatable. So there are people out there that even though they try, it really is just not a malicious intent. It is purely their lack of abilities to do something.
You with the dishwasher.
I don't know about that.
All right, well, getting toward the end of the show, so now we're
Yes.
going to move on to our favorite part,
Our favorite part.
Smash or Pass. And this week's Smash or Pass is...
The SAG Award nominees, since we missed the Golden
We
Globes.
missed the Golden Globes. We know it's award season, so we decided to go with the SAG Award for Best Actor and Best Actress combined. And so this week we're also going to do a little different. I'm going to put the pictures up so not only we can see, you can see who we are deciding whether or not.
Yes.
So we're going to start with Adrian Brody in The Brutalist. I like this picture of Adrian. I mean, look at him. He's smiling for you. He's bringing you flowers. Has a nice little sports coat on, button up. What are we saying?
I am going to say pass. He, in this picture, looks a little bit like my ex-brother-in-law, but more specifically, he
Shout out
is...
Richie.
I wasn't about to say a name. Anyhow, he's a little scrawny for me. There's just something to him that doesn't scream like brawny man.
My wife does like a manly man. All right, so next, Pamela Anderson in The Last Showgirl. Now, as an 80s baby and someone that grew up watching shows during the Baywatch era on TV, if this was Pamela Anderson back then, I would live out a lot of boyhood fantasies. But we're talking about Pamela Anderson now. I, unfortunately, am going to pass.
Poor Pamela.
Pass. Sorry, Pam. Love you. Pass.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Mr. Chalamet in A Complete Unknown. A lot of people love Timothée Chalamet, hot actor right now out there on the scene. What do we think?
I believe I read a article about the mousy actor look. A couple of people that are included in that, I don't find any of them attractive. He's very petite looking, and I'm actually not sure how tall he is, but he's very thin. And again, not into that, so I'm going to have to pass.
All right. Sorry, Tim.
Next one is Miss Elphaba, Cynthia Erivo.
Erivo.
Thank you for the
Cynthia
correction.
Erivo as Elphaba. Now, this is going to be a weird one for me because Cynthia, in her regular life, I think she's a little too avant-garde for me.
Okay.
Some of the clothing she wears and the piercing she has, and I'm not a big fan of. But with her hair like this, and I don't know what's with the glasses and the furrowed brow, there's something about her. I like the Elphaba look. So I'm
Alphabella?
Alphabella. I'm going to go with the Elphaba. I'm going to go smash.
With the Elphaba version.
Smash.
Okay.
Cynthia, smash. All right, next up, Daniel Craig for the movie Queer.
1,000 times yes. Daniel Craig is on my
Has been on her list.
free pass
will be on her
list.
list.
Will forever, eternally be on my free pass list. He does it for me. Even here in this picture where he's not so sexy, he's sexy. 1,000% yes.
All right, and then next up for me, Carla Sofia Gascon in Amelia Perez. I just don't find her attractive, unfortunately. Nothing against her personally. I don't know her that well personally. I know a little bit of the background of the movie.
We tried to get through it, couldn't do it. I might try again.
The singing was a lot. I mean, it's musicals I get, but like this was a lot. But I just, sorry, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Pass. So next one up, we've got Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing.
I have not ever seen a movie with Coleman in it. Based on this picture alone, though, I'm not getting the Smash vibes, so I'm gonna
I
have to
think we
pass.
might have seen him in a thing or two. I'd have to look up his IMDb
Yeah.
to really know, but he looks
I
pretty
might have to
familiar.
defer this one to a different
Maybe
to
a
a
different
different
picture,
time
maybe a different.
because I want to at least know a
But in
little bit of
this-
his like whether he has Riz or not, because in this picture it doesn't look like he has a Riz, because Riz gets me.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I only know 3 of the people on my list, really. That includes the next person I do not know.
Oh, but he
I'm gonna go
he already knows.
Mickey Madison, Mickey
Madison,
Madison, Mickey
yes.
Madison, or Mikey Madison, Mickey Madison,
Mickey.
for Honora. And who found this picture? Down a little down blouse here in a loose nightclub. I'm gonna go Smash. Smash. Yeah, she's cute. She's attractive. A little young for me, but Smash. All right, next up,
Ralph
Fiennes in the Conclave. Well, first of all, I want to start Conclave.
Conclave
Great
was
movie.
such a
Good
great movie.
Movie.
Yes, such a great movie. The outfit isn't doing it for me, but because I know Ralph Fiennes is his acting career does it for me, I'm gonna have to go with Smash.
All right, and then last but certainly not least, Miss Demi Moore for The Substance. Demi has always been kind of on that list for me of when I was
Near
a young
and dear to
man.
your
Yeah,
heart.
like kind of same Pamela Anderson vibe, you know, like even in the 90s when she did the movie Striptease, like she's gotten aged a little bit, but for me,
God, she's hot.
I would still
I would do her.
smash.
Smash.
So
She's
Demi,
she's not one of my decisions, but yes.
So
And
yeah,
Smash
I
as
said
well.
Smash. So
She's a
that's
beautiful
going to
woman.
sum up our Smash and Pass for this week. Thank you guys for coming to see us again. I'm going to leave
Mm-hmm.
this ending to my wife as usual.
I do not have anything planned. I just wanted to thank you. Please follow us on social media, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Cut.
All right, we got to get ready for the next one.
Yep.
I got to do some prep work for this one.